Say hello to the people, Phil.
Hello!
And welcome back to After the Hype, our review show that we do for games that we play on Hype. Have you ever played over at twitch.tv/2pennygames every Tuesday, 1 p.m. Central Time. I am your host, Tavin Bothel, here with my good friend and co-host here, Phil Shoemaker.
That's me!
Phil, have you ever played Mass Effect?
Well, I had not up until
now. So, with the release of the Mass Effect Legendary Edition, I've been playing Mass Effect heavily. I had you play it on Hype. We will be continuing our series eventually, dive into Mass Effect 2 and 3.
Yes.
But for right now, you just finished the first game, and this is going to act as our review / little spoiler cast to talk about it and to capitalize on the moment of Mass Effect.
Should we address the elephant in the room?
So,
rather not in the room.
If you are a listener of the 2 Penny Games cast, in which this show is attached to, that goes up on youtube.com/2pennygamescast every Monday at 8 a.m.
Yes.
on your favorite podcast services, you would have heard that our good friend Connor Elliott, friend of the show, co-host of the 2 Penny Games cast, was supposed to be on this After the Hype.
But tragically,
Spoilercast.
he is now deceased. To us.
So there were some scheduling difficulties. We were recording on a day we don't usually record, and then the episode we were recording went hella long, so he had to leave. Piece of
this earth.
Shit little bitch.
He had to leave this earth.
Fucking burn in hell.
Jesus.
Cockroach of a human.
Fuck. But no, unfortunately, Connor had to go.
Little bitch.
Yeah.
Anyways. Ladies and gentlemen.
Mass Effect is fun.
Mass Effect is fucking fun, dude. So, Phil, this is your first time. You just said you had some fun. What are your overall impressions of Mass Effect 1?
Well, out of all the games that you've shown me on our wonderful show that we do, I think this is the first one that I would actually go back and replay.
Really?
Yeah.
Fantastic. That's great to hear. You're not a big replay guy for content.
Not really. I just think that I would probably go back and try like a different class. For
some different classes, different dialogue options, different choices.
Would that, if I did go, sorry, I almost talked out of the mic there. Would that really change how I would play into the second and third game if I went and tried to start a new one right now?
No.
When you lets me choose.
When you load up a game, it gives you a select your career mode.
Oh,
so
okay.
When I leave, you can
okay.
plug away at a new character right now.
Cool.
That'd be a little weird. I would recommend you wait until we get back to Phil Shepard.
Okay.
Just to keep that continuity straight, but
Okay, that's fair enough.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of Mass Effect. I've played the entire trilogy dozens of times, hundreds of hours. I've platinumed the original 3 games on PS3. I'm working my way through the trilogy now on PS5/4. And what else happened? Oh, I got all the achievements in Mass Effect 3 on Xbox 360 because I first originally played the game on 360.
Look at you.
Dozens upon dozens upon dozens of hours into the Mass Effect 3 multiplayer. Many hours into Mass Effect Andromeda, more than I'd like to admit.
Are there multiplayer achievements in 3?
Yeah, for the original game.
That's so lame. I hate that.
Yeah, it's not great.
Multiplayer achievements suck.
Granted, you can get them without playing the multiplayer though. I don't know if it's still active, but there was an app or a website you could go to, and if you just came in on you would go in, you'd click a thing, and then it'd be like, all right, come back in 3 hours.
Oh,
and
okay.
You come back in 3 hours and plug away at it that way. Oh. That's how I got the trophy on PS3 because I was like, I don't want to play the multiplayer.
Fuck this.
Yeah. So Mass Effect 1, actually my favorite of the trilogy.
Very good.
Not
a great time.
Not the fan favorite, but I enjoy it for its world building and atmosphere, and even with the Legendary Edition, I actually really enjoy the gameplay of it.
We've said it a few times, but it took me a second to get gripped by it. But once I did, I was in.
Yeah. Yeah, no, I'd say it was probably late Pharos or maybe somewhere around Novaria.
It was right before the Thorian fight.
Yeah, that's
on that world is when
late Pharos is where it started clicking with you, which I'm so glad it did. So, Phil, let's go ahead and jump into it. So, this being the first... No, I guess it was kind of true for Kingdom Hearts, but this was like the first time where they were playing a version of the game that was so drastically different from the original. This will become less true as we continue with the trilogy.
Sure.
But the first one needed the most work, especially mechanically. So things like the shooting is tighter. They've removed weapon restrictions on classes. The Mako, they've like increased the gravity on and tweaked how the shooting in the Mako works to make it more accurate and, you know, make it feel like you're actually doing what you're trying to do as opposed to just
Still
some
not the biggest fan of
piece
the
of
Mako.
styrofoam. Yeah, and that's fair. I don't think they've done a whole lot to the Mako, but they've done enough.
I think they just made it tolerable.
That's probably fair. I'm a Mako apologist, even in the original game. So yeah, mechanically, this is the deepest RPG of the three. How did you not a huge RPG guy, how did you, outside of like some Pokemon games and a few other like Skyrim?
I wouldn't say I'm not a big RPG guy. I like RPGs.
You like RPGs? Okay.
I just hadn't played Mass Effect before.
Okay, fair. How did you feel about our mechanics of this game? Let's start with the shooting.
I think that once I got the equipment that I liked, I felt great about it.
Okay.
There was a few bits in the beginning that I was getting very frustrated because I'm not used to a shooter that doesn't have a reload, you know,
overheat system.
So I was like, oh man, this is kind of it's gonna take some getting used to.
Sure.
Which I did.
Yeah.
Especially since fucking Infiltrator, for pistols and snipers, it stops you from overheating as fast. And once I got all that, plus my proficiency with both those weapons up, and got like heat sinks for them, like I was never overheating. Like, unless I got
yeah, that's true.
Was it dampened or
sabotaged?
Sabotaged. Okay. Yeah, I thought it was very satisfying. There was a few moments from like our streams where like I would just like really quickly snap to somebody and just fucking shoot them once and they'd just go down immediately. And I was like, dude, that was so fucking satisfying. Like there was a bit in Garrus' side mission where like, you know, you choose whether or not to
be fair, that NPC is very weak.
Well, I'm just saying. It's just very satisfying is all I'm saying.
Yeah, it is.
So I thought it was going to be like a cutscene where Garrus just shoots him. But no, he runs away, and as he ran away, I just fucking aimed at him and domed him. Which
is strange because in most instances you say, "Hey, character, it's time for you to die," and then in cutscene they get shot. It even happened in our playthrough when, for example, we took Rex to the mob boss Fist. Yeah, that's him. And Rex shot him in a cutscene. So I don't know if that's just like some weird like game design thing, or they didn't program it in and they just like made him an enemy to save time or something. I don't know. But yeah, I for the most part agree with you. I mean, the shooting is a little floaty. It's been tightened up and feels a lot better than it used to. And especially with the freedom of weapon class restrictions being gone.
There's no more. There's no more like restrictions.
Like literally, like I mean, you didn't use them a whole lot because you found proficiency in pistols and snipers, like your class gives you.
Sure, I
so you didn't use your shotgun as much. You didn't really use your assault rifle that much. But like, if you tried to and you didn't have proficiency in that weapon, like the reticle would be as big as the screen. You're not hitting jack shit.
That's how it was in the first game, anyway.
Yeah, like you're just not hitting shit. And
so it wasn't
I think
that
if
it
you're,
wouldn't let you use them. It would be really shitty.
Oh yeah, you could equip them, and it would just you're wasting your time. You're gonna
the way that you and Connor would talk about it would make me think that it was like, oh, you just can't use those.
Like I'm pretty sure in the original at least, if you weren't proficient in sniper rifles, you couldn't aim down scope.
Damn.
Yeah. Because I don't think you can aim down sight at any
like
weapon.
Hold it like this.
Yeah, you're basically blind.
If only there was a way for me to look through a scope and see something. There's only a way for me to fucking move my head towards the fucking scope.
Yeah. So yeah, first Mass Effect game, not much of a third-person shooter, I would say. Still, even though it has like the elements and the aesthetics of a third-person cover-based shooter. I still look at it and see it as more of a like an active turn-based RPG.
I don't know about that.
Just a little more active,
It was way third-person shooter for me.
Well, yeah. But if you like really dive deep into like ability usages and stuff, so you spend a lot of time holding down that right bumper and just like looking around and taking surveillance of your surroundings and how the enemies are positioning themselves and what powers they're about to use and et cetera, et cetera. Coming off of Knights of the Old Republic, which is the game BioWare made before Mass Effect, it makes sense how all of these elements work together. And honestly, it plays more like a shooter now than it used to with the Titan shooting. Like before, the shooting really felt like more like rolling dice. Then, well, like in the sense like dice? It was like way more floaty and like you didn't have a lot of control of where your shot hit. So like in this version, you can land a headshot every time that you have the skill for it.
When you say rolling dice, it reminds me of like, you know how in like Fallout they have like VATS and it has like a percentage.
So it's kind of like that. So I say rolling dice is like an archaic RPG like turn-based type thing. What the game is doing is that it's stat checking every time you fire your weapon. So it says what percentage is his accuracy at, what percentage is his damage at, and with that specific weapon, et cetera, et cetera. And it's taking all of that math into account and putting your shot where it thinks that shot should land.
Gotcha.
So even though like I'm aiming at the head, it might aim below his head.
Okay.
Still within the reticle, because the reticle does a good job of like showing you, but like the reticle spread will happen a lot. The bloom will happen a lot. It'll be a lot crazier.
I'm not a big fan of reticle bloom in games.
Yeah. So like, and all of these things were way more extreme in the original than they are in this version. And to be clear, I think this version blows the original out of the water.
I don't remember if in Halo Reach, I remember it being like a big deal. Reticle bloom anyway. I don't remember if there's a setting to turn it off. I don't remember.
I couldn't tell you. Yeah. So shooting, I think mechanically the game comes together when you start implementing all of the RPG mechanics behind it. You start planning out your where you're putting your skill points in your trees. You start building up your arsenal of abilities and your squad mates' abilities, and you start learning how to use them all together, and you start finding like different tactics and so forth to implement them in combat. And you can actually get pretty creative with some of it. Though you can quickly fall into the habit of using 3 abilities. You did a lot of sabotage, overload.
I would basically do like sabotage, overload. I would do like what's it called? The one that does damage over time. Warp. I would do warp. I would do throw. Stasis sometimes. Like if there was a guy charging at me and I kind of wanted to make some space.
You needed a second to reorient yourself. Yeah. Yep. All good stuff. And because of all these like crazy RPG elements, it's another reason why I like this game the most. As we continue, it's going to be more. Well, that's not true. 2 takes a hard left turn.
You said it plays way more like a third-person
shooter. More like a third-person shooter. For example, like the number of abilities you have, way lessened. All abilities are synced to the same cooldown. So if I use Biotic Throw, I got to wait. Granted, cooldown, way smaller. Depending on what ability you're using.
Yeah. Is there still Adrenaline Burst so you can like refresh abilities? No.
Maybe for Soldier.
Oh, okay.
Couldn't tell you. But they also diversify the classes a lot better or a lot more in the sequels. So, like, I'm playing a Sentinel right now in my playthrough of Mass Effect 2.
What class is Garrus?
Couldn't tell you. So snipers and tech abilities. So he's a mix between.
He did sniper, assault
rifle. So he's a mix between like assault. Usually for the aliens, they give a custom class.
Oh, okay. Then it was Turian agent.
Yeah, Turian agent.
And then Rex was like
Krogan Battlemaster or some shit.
Yeah, something like that.
Which were your 2 like main? Those were your boys.
Those are my boys.
Yeah. So yeah, overall, I think the gameplay in the first game is okay to solid, especially in Legendary Edition. Though I think it elevates to pretty good. works.
I think I'm trying to think what my favorite like planet was, like my favorite mission.
Let's go ahead and dive into some of that and start getting into some cool spoiler stuff. So,
yeah.
How do we want to start? We want to start with some favorite characters? How we feel about our characters here? A smaller cast than the smallest cast in the series, which makes sense. Yep. You just start building on that from there. We got our 2 humans, Ashley and Caden.
Both pretty boring.
Yeah, pretty boring.
Ashley's racist.
Ashley's racist and has boobs. That's about the best part about her. Caden, hopeless romantic. You know,
I didn't get any of that.
Tortured Pat. When you get in, if he's with a female shepherd, yeah, and he starts flirting with you a little bit, starts talking about long walks on the beach and shit, and you're like, shut the fuck up, dude.
Does he like pina coladas and getting caught in the rain?
Yeah. So meh characters with those.
Those are boring.
I think we really start diving.
Tali was pretty boring.
You didn't like Tali, which is fair. In this game, she's more of just an exposition dump to get the context with Geth and Corey and all of that, which is a super interesting conflict if you dive in deep and like look at all the lore and stuff, and then how they build on that later, which we won't get into.
And the Geth rebelled.
Yeah. Well, after being threatened with extinction.
Yeah.
So yeah, Tali more of just context for the Quarian race, which the other aliens do that as well, but they just have a little more character to them.
I was gonna say they're actual characters. And they're interesting.
So between Rex, Garrus, and Liara, you were pretty well set with those 3.
Those 3 were my people.
Yeah, I still like Tali in the first game, even though I do recognize she's not as fun. But yeah, Garrus like. C-Sec security, fed up with all the red tape he's got to do. He's trying to just get the job done.
I think he was probably. I don't know if he's. I think when I think badass, I'd probably say Garrus.
Really?
Yeah. As much as I love Rex, Rex is like also a big badass.
Yeah.
But more like, fuck you. He's like a fuck you badass. Garrus is like a logical badass.
Yeah, he's a we'll get this job done badass. Yeah.
Rex is like, fuck you. I'm gonna come at you and shove my fist up your ass. That's Rex.
I think my favorite moment is when we're talking to what's his name on Novaria, Lorik Keen, and they're talking about the higher ups or whatever. And Rex has a great fucking line if he's in your party where he says,
if it's not useful, just eat them or something like that.
Yeah, he's got something along the lines of they're all fools, and if you can't see it, you're a fool. You should eat them. Oh man, that's great. I love both those characters. Liara, an Asari, monogendered species, blue,
all bitches,
all sexy blue bitches. Nah, but Liara's great, little reserved, shy character.
Yep,
little charming, little smart. We're into it. Your romance option this time through.
Yep. So easy decision.
Easy decision. I also, with this playthrough, I also romanced Liara. I made that same choice. Just got down and dirty with the blue. Bumping blue uglies. You know what I'm saying?
Well, your uglies aren't blue until afterward.
That's disgusting. Anyways, yeah, I like Liara.
What if all the Asari are just like they just have blue body paint on and it just rubs off?
It's like a cheap porno.
Yeah.
Liara, one of my favorite Mass Effect characters. Also, like Tali, this is the least interesting entry for her in the series.
Yeah?
She gets way better as she goes on. So it's good that you like her.
I assume she gets like way more comfortable like around everybody.
Well, we'll just have to play and find out.
Because I feel like that's only logical. Because sure, when you first meet like a group of people, you can be kind of reserved and shy, depending on like your personality. At least that's me. When I first like enter a group, I'm kind of more held back. But once like I've been around, I'm like, who wants to see my dick? Woo! Or like just fucking around. No, I get way more comfortable and I just come out of my shell, and I feel like that's probably what's going to happen with Liara.
Well, we're going to find out now, aren't we?
I can't wait until Liara curses.
So Mass Effect is known for being like this RPG series or whatever, but it's also known for dialogue. and making dialogue choices and making heavy
Paragon or Renegade.
Paragon and Renegade, all that, but making heavy story choices that will affect games later on. It's not the only game to do it, but it's the game that does it the best and most meaningfully, even when compared to other BioWare games. Like Dragon Age, I think Dragon Age makes you go to a website and then you like click checkboxes and then it sends it to your profile or whatever. But you play as a different character every Dragon Age game, whereas this one, you are Commander Shepard and you are taking control of Shepard's story.
Yeah.
How did you feel about your ability to craft the character of Shepard?
I felt pretty good. I tried to be consistent. Because I kind of just played it. I mean, that's kind of what your first playthrough of any RPG is. You kind of just turn him into what you would do in that situation.
Yeah.
Rather than like, oh, I want to be an asshole or I want to be just a nice guy, hero. It's more just you. And I tried to keep that consistent. The only things that I kind of had a gripe with was a lot of times the like preview dialogue for like a dialogue option you pick is like it's worded differently from how it actually comes out.
Yeah. And
like
sometimes it's worded exactly the same.
I made a joke on stream where it was like the dialogue option would say like, I'm hungry. Or it's like, give me some fucking food would be like what he actually says. Or something like that.
Yeah. So, yeah, it can definitely be that dramatic sometimes. There are even times where the dialogue options are all paraphrased of what Shepard would say.
Yeah.
But there are times where, like, they just change it, and the quote-unquote paraphrased dialogue option that you read and see is sometimes even longer than the dialogue that Shepard says. To which point you go, well, why? So
why didn't you switch these?
Yeah. So mostly it's just sort of like a tone setter. And then even then you just fall into Paragon, you're going to be nice. Renegade, you're going to be a dick. And then in the middle, it's just kind of neutral.
You mentioned that it's kind of tough not to get Paragon points.
Yeah, the game favors being a Paragon. Which, like, as much of the devs are like, oh, man, you can really choose whatever you want, and we put a lot of work into the Renegade options, which they did. There's a lot of great Renegade options throughout the
like punching a
series,
reporter.
like punching a reporter. The game hands you Paragon points for, like, everything. Walk through a door, get some Paragon points. Complete a neutral action, get some Paragon points. Like, if the game wants to award you dialogue points to unlock more dialogue options, they do it in the form of Paragon.
Yeah.
As opposed to giving it to you both ways or something.
Yeah, and the more Renegade / Paragon points you get, the more you're able to unlock, the more you're able to upgrade your Charm and your Intimidate, which gives more options to earn more Paragon or Renegade points.
Or gives you the options to talk your way out of situations in scenarios where talking is no longer an option. Yeah. Shepard's just that. That's slick, man. You can just be like, wait. But what about this? And then they go, oh, you're right. Let me change my whole life.
Yeah.
So yeah, let's go ahead. Let's jump into
big decisions.
Some big decisions, some favorite moments, some key story elements, some side questing maybe. We didn't do a whole lot of side quests.
No, not really.
In our experience, I imagine that will change on a replay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Without a doubt. Yeah. I think on a replay I would go for like 100%.
Yeah. That speaking on something we haven't touched on yet, which we should have talked about in gameplay. A lot of the side content feels pretty rushed in this first game. The Uncharted worlds specifically are clearly like, fuck, man, I don't know. Turn the elevation on and like scroll over the map and just make a bunch of mountains.
I feel like a lot of the side quests that I ended up running into were just like one set of dialogue.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of dialogue talk. So yeah, you did some of the other one. There are some. If you go deeper into the side questing, there's some. I mean, you're going to an Uncharted world and then like clearing out a base, but like it might end with
all the bases that look the same.
Yeah, all the bases that look the same. It might end with a moral dilemma of do I kill this guy? Do I talk to him and get him to stand down?
Do I steal these things?
Yeah, exactly. So like there's quite a bit of that, and there's some really, really good ones in this first game.
Yeah.
But they are surrounded by this underwhelming level design. and structure that a lot of the side content implements. But moving away from that into the more story missions where you go to certain planets and those are fully crafted out worlds with their own cultures and vibes and feelings. How did we feel sort of just like of the universe of Mass Effect?
It was very, very cool. Very, very well thought out, very well crafted, I think, as far as like different types of aliens and how they're designed.
Yeah.
How a lot of them act, a lot of the way they talk.
The history behind them.
Yeah.
These races have gone to war before.
I've said it multiple times, but my favorite aliens are the Elcor.
Elcor, yeah.
So cool.
For for people who are just finding this review or whatever, Elcor, they carry no tone in their voice. They're very monotone.
So they say like enthusiastic response. That is amazing, Shepard.
Exactly like that. So that you found just hysterical. We didn't come across too many Elcor in our playthrough just because we stayed pretty golden path.
Yeah.
I don't remember too many in 2, but I know there's some great Elcor moments in 3. Anyways, but yeah. So and then oh, you know what we didn't talk about? We didn't talk about our big baddie when we were talking about characters. We didn't talk about our boy Saren.
What a dick.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Big douche.
Kind of a dickhead.
Yeah. Wrong side, bro. Wrong side.
Don't you know who I am? I'm the protagonist.
I'm the protagonist, motherfucker. Yeah, so I actually think Saren is a really cool character. He's a dick and he's a jerk and he's not in the game a whole lot. But I really like him. I think
what it kind of felt like, I'm trying to think, there was definitely something I know of that was very similar. But it was always us trying to catch up with Saren, you know, like us trying to follow him, figure out what he was doing on this place, and we like always like, oh, we just missed him.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of what else I know that's like that, but it was like, oh, I'm Saren. I'm going to fuck up this one place, and then I follow behind. It's like, oh, I gotta clean up this mess now.
Yeah.
And then it felt like I was just chasing him like that.
Sure.
Which I don't dislike. It was just like a funny little.
Well, I think that speaks to because this game there's a lot of non-linearity in this game when they finally get you going and you have your ship and you're going out and exploring worlds and stuff.
Yeah.
They go, here are your main 3-4 objectives. Just kind of get to them in whatever order you kind of want. Even though I think there's clearly a preferred order.
Yeah. I wasn't a big fan of like the kind of slow start.
It is a bit of a slow start, and they throw a lot of exposition at you really quickly. A lot of like just world building in that beginning section and so forth. So,
I think that's probably what I'm least excited about going back on a replay.
I have that issues with every RPG where I have to get through the first few beginning hours.
It's that way with Pokemon for me too, because I always have to do like the starting town shit.
Yeah.
Fucking doing all the shit before you even get a Pokemon.
Yeah,
like it's the slog.
I just have that issue with RPGs where it's like I'm at my weakest, so the mechanics aren't interesting. It's a lot of just like banging my head against a brick wall, and then all of the deep and compelling story stuff happens later, and it's just kind of like fuck, man, like this is boring. I don't need to hear about this fucking drunk CSEC officer who's like being cast out or whatever.
I did see at like the end of our stream there's like a continue option. Would that just bring me to my last save?
Yes.
So I could just go do a bunch of side shit and then finish?
Well, your last save is post Ilos.
Fuck.
Yeah.
Oh no, but I have other parts of the file.
You'd have to go really far back.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
Yeah. Like you'd have to go like pre-Vermeer.
Oh, okay.
To do a bunch of the side questing shit.
But that's what like the continue option is. It just brings you.
Yeah, it just brings you to a save. Yeah.
Okay.
Which I really like that menu layout for the Legendary Edition, where it gives you like name and rank and class on the main menu for your different playthroughs, and then I assume if you've got multiple playthroughs going at the same time with different games, it'll like continue that option, which is kind of neat. So yeah, let's any worlds particularly caught your interest or? that you liked or that you can think of?
I really like the design of what is the world where you have to choose between Ashley and Caden.
Vermeer.
I really like that world.
Lots of beaches and beautiful scenery.
I like the design of it.
Storms over on in the distance in the horizon. Yeah, that's a good one. That's one of my favorites. And then of course all the big story moments happen there too. So
that's where kind of all the big choices start.
I'm always a big fan of Novaria, the snow planet.
Which one is? Oh, that's the one where.
It's the one where you get Benezia.
Yeah.
Because I think some of the more interesting side questing stuff happens there. I like all the corporate espionage shit for some reason, and then I think the whole situation with the Rachni is super interesting and fascinating, and how that feeds into the Reaper plot and shit. Oh, it's good.
The Rachni, huh? Ooh.
Not a fan of the Rachni?
No, it's just we know what happened there.
Oh. So let's go ahead. Let's dive into some choices. Phil, Mass Effect is all about the choices.
Yep.
Let's talk about some choices.
What would you say is the first big choice?
It's the Rachni.
Is it?
Yeah. Because they stay pretty light in the beginning. It's mostly just dialogue shit. They don't have you do anything major. I don't there's not any big choices on Pharos or Therum. Therum, you'd literally just go pick up Liara and get going. Pharos, there's some smaller things like killing the colony or sparing them.
Oh, right. Well, I mean, I've spared the colony there.
Yeah, we both.
I cured them all, and then I killed a Thorian.
I did the same in my playthrough. You can kill the Asari that the Thorian is making clones of, or let her go. We both let her go?
Yeah, I let her go.
Yeah. Those are smaller things. Those have less ripples in the future games. But the first choice that is made in those first 3 missions that kind of matters, spoiler, I guess, I don't know, well, not really though, is I
mean, this is a spoiler cast.
This is a spoiler cast. Well, I meant for 2 and 3, which you have no experience with it. But the Rachni. So, ancient species that was wiped out by the Krogan. Which they were brought up in order to eliminate the Rachni.
Yeah.
So the Krogan were brought up early into galactic civilization before they should have, used to wipe out the Rachni. And then when the Krogan rebellion started happening, they then neutered and
started the genophage.
The genophage, which is really just like a preconceptive genocide.
Yeah.
Where 1 in 1,000 babies are born. So there's a lot of historic context in your choice with the Rachni of, do you spare this final queen or do you let her go and restart Rachni life?
Nope.
Or do you finish her off?
Yup.
You finished her off.
I sure did.
I did not. I let her go.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, my thoughts were with the future. And it was okay, sure, this queen is saying she's going to fuck off and leave people alone, right? However, I don't know how long she's going to be around.
Yeah.
I don't know what her future generation's going to be like.
Y'all bitches real dangerous.
Yes, very dangerous. And also my boy Rex, he was brought up in order to do this, and I felt like it was kind of insulting his race. For not, I mean, that's kind of their whole thing. That's what they did.
Yeah,
and it would just kind of be going back on what he already accomplished.
Sure. Yeah. All fair choices. All fair choices. We're gonna have to see how
I fucking burned that.
We're gonna have to see how these choices ripple effect
burned
You burned that bitch. Dumped a vat of acid on her. Anyways, and then,
the next big choice,
moving on, you just jump straight into Vermeer, where the majority of big major choices happen. I mean, there's some smaller ones you can do throughout the game. For example, the DLC mission where you stop the asteroid from colliding with a colony. You can choose to let Balak the terrorist go and save some civilians, or let those civilians get blown up and put her down. I let him go just because he has a cameo appearance in the third game, and I think it's cute that they included it. You fucking let them bitches die and killed that bitch.
Trolley problem, Tavin.
Yeah.
He's just gonna go back and do the same thing with some more people.
Sure.
I let, what was it, 3 people die?
Yeah.
3 people to save who knows how many others.
Yeah.
Easy math.
Easy math. Easy math. Yep. So bollocks in the ground. We didn't do too many other like major side questing things. We did Garrus's mission and Rex's mission. Those don't have any choices behind them, other than do you want to do them or not. Well, I guess arresting Dr. Salion or killing him. That doesn't make a difference.
I wanted Garrus to get his. The whole reason Garrus joined me was to not be tied up in red tape.
Yeah. So let's go correct some mistakes of the past. Moving on straight into Vermeer, man. First major choice, big Rex boy. Now this, when we started our playthrough, you were hitting the neutral option quite a bit.
Yeah.
And I started to get a little nervous because I was like, I know Phil. He's not going to do a lot of side questing. He's going to stay pretty direct, golden pathing it. I'm like, man, is he? And he's like mixing and matching his answers a lot. And I'm like, man, is he even going to have enough points to talk Rex down? Is he going to lose Rex? I don't know, man.
I would have been devastated.
Dude, it's tough, man.
I would have been fucking devastated. I told you, I think it was on stream, I would have wanted to stop as soon as that happened. I would have wanted to stop for the night and not do any more and come back next week. I would not have wanted to continue.
You would have killed Ashley so fast. Because if you don't talk Rex down and
he gets shot by Ashley.
But you keep trying to talk out of it, he does get shot by Ashley.
I would have saved Caden.
Dude, you hear his death gurgle and everything. It's tough. Yo, and they shoot him multiple times. Like they shoot him once, he falls out of the camera, and then they just show Shepard or Ashley shooting him a bunch more times, and then he's like, anyways, it's tough.
My boy.
So you managed to talk Rex down. I also talked Rex down, but by that point I had done his side mission, so I didn't even need the Paragon choice, the Charmer, Intimidate choices. Next, it's like, choosing who goes with Captain Kirrahe. That one doesn't really matter. And then the small little choices you make in the Battle of Vermeer to help out Kirrahe on whether or not, him and his squad survive or not. And then also, of course, if you also have to go to whoever is with Kirrahe. You have to go rescue that squad mate in order to keep Kirrahe alive. Otherwise, Kirrahe dies.
Oh damn!
Yeah, so there's a lot of barriers in your way. You have to hit
little things.
Yeah, you got to hit a lot of checkpoints. We both made the choice of when to alert guards on the other side of the base and draw more attention over to Kirrahe and his men. We both made the choice to do that instead of taking on the bigger challenge.
I did by mistake.
You didn't understand the context because you were talking over dialogue.
I was being funny, dude. Come on.
Be funny during combat.
That's harder. I have to focus during combat.
Yeah. So yeah, for both me and you, Kirrahe didn't make it out. Both me and you, we chose Ashley over Caden. The only reason I chose Ashley is because I was streaming.
And Lucky Rabbit.
And my boy Lucky Rabbit 7 in the chat was like, you know what? Yeah, you should do this. And I was like, all right, Lucky Rabbit, this one I'll do for you. So he made that choice for me. So yeah, Ashley lived. Caden died for both our playthroughs. And then obviously we romanced Liara. And then Is
Liara the only gay option?
Quote unquote gay option, yeah.
Yeah, because you can play if you play as a woman.
Yeah. They don't bring real homosexual options until 3.
Yeah.
Which is unfortunate. Fuck you, Fox News. There's a character in 2 who was supposed to be pansexual. But she's not. Fuck you, Fox News.
You only get 3 in 1, right? It's Caden, Ashley,
Liara. Damn near all of them in 2. Yeah.
You can romance Rex?
So moving on.
I feel like he would be like the joke one. You played Saints Row 4, right?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, there are some joke romances.
Cause I know in Saints Row 4 you could romance everybody except Keith David. Like Keith David just wouldn't do it. I feel like that's what Rex would be.
Maybe. Who knows? You'll have to play and find out, buddy.
Like every time you try to romance Keith David, he would like punch you in the face or something like that.
I'll just say. No, I'm not gonna say it. Never mind. So yeah, and then from there, it's pretty much a straight shot to the end of the game. You know, we go. The council dicks you over once again.
Fucking assholes.
Anderson yeah, fucking no kidding, right? Anderson helps you escape. You take the Normandy. You shoot off to Ilos. You find the conduit. You discover more details about the Reaper plot
with Vigil.
And you also have, I guess, back to Vermeer, you have that conversation with Sovereign where he's like, yo, I'm just here to fuck all you motherfuckers up. I don't care what or who you are.
We learned that Saren's ship is a Reaper.
Is indeed a Reaper. Which just your through osmosis in your time on the internet, you were able to be like, you just looked at Sovereign and went, that's a Reaper.
Yeah. I knew what they looked like.
Or you at least went, that's a Reaper ship.
Yeah, I said that's a Reaper ship. So
yeah.
I didn't know that's what the Reapers actually
That's a Reaper.
I thought it was a ship.
And then, Vigil over on Ilos drops a whole bunch of info, says, hey, man, this is what the Protheans did in their last moment to buy y'all a little bit more time before the Reapers showed up. And, hopefully y'all get it done and stop Sovereign before he brings every Reaper to your galactic government hub.
The Citadel.
So then...
favorite spot on the Citadel.
So then we take the conduit, we shoot off to... the Citadel in the Mako and fight Saren, defeat him, and then we have this choice, man. Sovereign is there. He's at the Citadel. We got to stop him. The human fleet is coming in, but the Geth are all over the Citadel, and they're attacking the ship that the council is on. So what do? Do you sacrifice some human ships in order to save the council, or do you keep all your ships back and focus directly on Sovereign and, hopefully reduce the amount of human casualties taken? And I believe we made the same choice here in
saving the council. So I kind of looked at it. I was like, man, fuck these guys. They always second guess me, especially the Turian one. Like the Asari was kind of more on my side, and the Solarian was kind of just like more like, I felt like he was like supposed to be like the smart one. Like he was like the one who's like, oh, it's more like it's all about numbers and all that and stuff like that. That's kind of the vibe I got from him. But the Turian was just a fucking dick. Every single choice I made, he'd always be like, oh yeah, I'm sure that's the right choice. Oh, you didn't just do that for humans. Oh, wow.
You never hung up on the council, did you? I don't think you ever did. No,
I never did.
That's always a funny gag. Calling them up just to hang up.
They're just such assholes. But I was like, okay, if I let the council die here, whoever inevitably replaces them is going to be like, oh, so you let the previous council die. What are you going to do here? And then also I was going to be like, I kind of want them, I want to have the satisfaction of them having egg on their faces and doubting me. So I'm like, yeah, I'll save you. And I did.
And we will have to see how those choices...
I mean, I know obviously there wouldn't be as much of a story if they were like, yeah, we trust you forever, Shepard. Yeah, you're the best now. I feel like there's got to be more like later on where they're like, yeah, we think you're wrong again, even though you weren't ever wrong in the last game.
Well, I'll say in 3, I'll say this much. In your war against the Reapers, there is, for your quote-unquote best ending, quote-unquote. There's like a meter you're filling up of galactic readiness as you're collecting allies to go to Earth and make a final push against the Reapers.
Yep.
This isn't a spoiler. This is how the game starts.
I mean, I already knew that like there's got to be some kind of final confrontation with the Reapers. Like,
we're doing something, you know,
because they even ended the first game. We were saying like Reapers are still out there.
The Reapers are coming, buddy.
I gotta get ready.
Winter is coming, and boy does it come. In a way more meaningful way than Game of Thrones.
don't need to talk about what a disappointment that show is.
Fucking sucks. Anyways, it's like so bad that nobody rewatches Game of Thrones. Like that's not something you do.
Nope.
Anyways, so this galactic readiness bar fills up, and there were some things in 3 that, depending on choices you made in the other games, would help you out in filling out this bar. But a lot of it was dedicated towards the multiplayer and how much time in the multiplayer you put in.
This was released 2010, 2011?
2012.
Was it really?
Yeah.
2012?
Yes, sir.
3?
Yeah. First one 2007, second one 2010.
There's no way. I was...
And then third one, third one's like March of 2012.
I was not... Okay, I guess I technically wouldn't have been in high school at the time, but... For whatever reason, I thought it was like a year before then.
No. It's like March 2012.
All right.
Something like that. What was I saying? Oh, so in this Legendary Edition, obviously we don't have the multiplayer. So that mechanic of the game kind of breaks because you don't have the multiplayer. So they have tweaked it to extend throughout the entire trilogy in more meaningful ways. So I haven't seen how it works personally yet, but from what I've heard, it's a lot harder to get your galactic readiness up by just playing Mass Effect 3. Because like in the original game, you could just play Mass Effect 3 story mode, and if you just did everything, you could get your bar up. But now you need the context of the other 2 games. So I'm excited to see in what ways personally this changes things. I mean, I know the ending and I know how all the math plays out and works. So I know I know to the level and degree it's going to change things. But I'm curious to see how some of these choices you make work later on down the line and how it works to filling out that bar.
I think it'll be good. I get a good feeling.
You think you've set yourself a decent foundation for the future?
I think I have.
We're gonna find out.
Yeah, we will.
We're gonna find out.
We certainly will.
We certainly will. Now, Phil.
Yeah.
You like yourself some good review scores.
I do, actually.
You brought that element into the show. So, how would you score that there Mass Effect 1?
I am gonna give it. It's definitely an 8. I'm trying to think if it's a high or a low 8.
Ooh, very exciting. On your first playthrough. That's so exciting.
You know, I'm just going to say mid 8.
Mid 8?
8.5.
Very generous to this Mass Effect 1. You enjoyed it quite a bit. What did you score Snake Eater?
I'm pretty sure I gave it like a high, like a 8.8, 8.9, maybe even a 9.
We should go back, find out, and then...
I don't remember.
Yeah.
If I didn't say high 8 to a 9, then
that's what it should have been. Yeah, I'm with you. 8-ish. Original game 7-ish. This game.
I feel like if I had to play the original, I probably would be much harsher.
Oh yeah. Absolutely.
Really fucking Hanna-Barbera dog sound you just made there, dude.
Anyways. So yeah, that is our After the Hype review for Mass Effect 1. Very exciting. You excited to get into these sequels, buddy?
Yeah, actually.
Yeah. So, if you are listening this on release, we will be live in just a few hours.
Go ahead. Can I make a retraction? Because there was a bit earlier. I think it was during the stream where I talked about how I didn't want to go into the second one.
Oh, shit.
At least not yet. I think I might want to go from 1 to 2.
You want some back-to-back, don't you?
I think so.
You want some back-to-back. Well, Phil.
Just because I know it's like a total direct continuation.
Yes.
And I don't know. Something about
I think this
that
trilogy is
makes me
best played back-to-back.
Okay.
Best. But it's not like we would take a huge break if we swap. I mean, we got to do your game because we passed the controller over there at H.Y.E.P. Have you ever played? Twitch.tv/2pennygames every Tuesday at 1 p.m. Day-long stream. Come by, say hi.
If you're listening to this on Tuesday, you're We're probably already live.
Yeah, we're probably already live.
Tavin's going to be playing some Spyro the Dragon.
Spyro the Dragon, first game, Reignited Trilogy version.
Yep.
Very excited to find out what this legendary franchise is all about. And then I guess probably wouldn't. There's no way Spyro 1's taking a whole session, right? Or
it has the potential to take like maybe 5-6 hours.
Okay, well we'll see how we feel it. So yeah, come by, say hi, and then we were gonna go to some Uncharted 2, but very clearly you are itching to get to that Mass Effect.
I want to play more Mass Effect.
Yeah, buddy, you do. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. If you're listening to the full Games Cast, thank you for sticking around. Very much clearly our longest episode ever.
Oh, without a doubt.
If you're listening to just the After the Hype review / Spoilercast, thank you so much. Please drop a subscribe, like, follow, go listen to the full podcast if you like. We just did our top 10 games of all time, more of an evergreen episode as opposed to the weekly news show.
Tavin, Connor, and I.
All three of us on that one, whereas usually it's just me and Connor. So please go check that out. But until then, ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for gaming with us. Thank you so much for watching. And until next time, Phil, say goodbye to the people.
Bye.